One of the hardest parts of leadership is building a vision that doesn't just end up as a poster on a wall, but one that actually lives and breathes inside your team. Well, today we're going to unpack a really powerful five-stage framework that shows you how to get there, how to move from just telling people what the future is to actually co-creating it with them in a way that inspires true, genuine commitment.
Think about it. We've all seen this, right? A charismatic leader gets up on stage, gives this big, inspiring speech, unveils a brand new vision, and then nothing. Crickets. Nothing really changes. So why on earth does this happen so often? Well, it's because a real shared vision isn't a one-time event. It's a process. It's a journey. And we're about to map out that entire journey for you. This quote from the late Bill O'Brien, wow, it just uses such a brilliant analogy. He compared a toxic, power-driven company culture to a paper mill. When you first get there, the smell is just overwhelming. But if you stick around long enough, you actually get used to it. And here's the danger. Just because you stop noticing the smell doesn't mean it isn't harming you. It stunts your growth. And that is exactly what's at stake when a team is missing a real shared purpose.
So, let's say you do it. You start building a shared vision, and people actually get excited about it. That's the goal, right? Well, yes. But it brings this whole new set of challenges that, frankly, most leaders just don't see coming. The very success of the process completely changes the game. This quote absolutely nails the shift in a leader's world. I mean, it's one thing to try and get a stagnant team moving. It's a whole other thing to channel the explosive energy of a newly inspired one. Your job literally transforms. You go from being a controller to being a conductor, from a motivator to a mentor. All of a sudden, you have to learn how to listen and guide all this new initiative without accidentally squashing it.
So, how do you manage those wild horses? How do you steer all that energy? This is where this amazing framework comes in. I want you to think of it like a ladder of engagement, a clear, five-stage path that any organization can climb to build a vision that is truly shared. And here is the ladder itself. Just notice the two different directions here. As you move from left to right, you see the active involvement from everyone in the organization just goes up and up. And as you climb higher on the ladder, the required leadership capacity also grows. And that's not just from the boss, but from everyone. So the most important question you can ask yourself is, where is my organization on this ladder right now? Okay, let's start at the very bottom rung, telling. This is the classic top-down, my way or the highway approach. The boss has the vision, and the team is just expected to execute it. Now look, sometimes this is necessary, like in a crisis when there's no time to debate, but the result is always, always compliance. People will do what you tell them, but their hearts just won't be in it. All right, one step up from that. We've got selling. So here, the leader isn't just barking orders, they're actually trying to enroll people. They're making a case for the vision, treating employees almost like customers who need to be persuaded to buy in. It's definitely more engaging, but the vision itself still comes from one place, the top. Now, things start to get really interesting. At the testing stage, the leader puts a vision out there and genuinely asks for feedback. It's kind of like market research. And the key word here is test. It implies that the feedback isn't just for show. It's actually going to be used to refine and improve the final vision. Okay, moving up to the next stage, the whole dynamic really starts to flip on its head. This is consulting. The leader isn't walking into the room with a finished idea anymore. Instead, they're starting with a question. What do you all think we should do? Now, the leader still makes the final call, but the vision itself is now being shaped by the collective wisdom of the entire group. And finally, we get to the very top of the ladder, co-creating. This is where the real magic happens. It's a true partnership. And here's why this is so incredibly powerful. It creates psychological ownership. When people are part of building the vision from the ground up, it stops being the boss's vision and it becomes our vision. And the motivation totally shifts. It goes from extrinsic, doing something for a paycheck or to please a manager, to intrinsic. People are working to build what they truly want to build. So, you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? And the answer is a resounding yes. Let's just take a look at the incredible transformation of Hanover Insurance under the leadership of Bill O'Brien, whose quote we saw a minute ago. It is the perfect case study for these principles in action. Before their big transformation back in the 1970s, Hanover was a classic authoritarian company. That smell O'Brien talked about, it was the smell of power games, of politics, and of fear. The only goal was to please your boss and climb the corporate ladder.
Afterwards, they became a company driven by shared values, what they called their governing ideas. Decisions were suddenly based on merit, not on who you knew. Information was open, and authority was pushed down to the local level where it belonged.
And the result of all this? Well, look, this wasn't just some feel-good cultural victory, it was a stunning financial one. By focusing on building this vision-driven organization, their stock price just skyrocketed from 90 cents to $40 over 2 decades. It's powerful proof that purpose and profit are not enemies. They are, in fact, essential partners.
Okay, so you're probably feeling pretty inspired by this. You want to start climbing that ladder in your own organization. So how do you actually begin? Let's distill all of this down into some clear, practical advice for any leader who wants to put this into practice.
There are 4 key steps. First, find a partner. You cannot be the star actor and the stage manager at the same time. Second, assess yourself and be honest about it. Are you naturally a teller or a co-creator? Third, you have to make it personal. People connect to real stories and genuine passion, not abstract corporate goals. And finally, and this is the big one, be accountable. Nothing kills a vision faster than a leader who doesn't live by the very values they preach.
But, and this is a really big but, here's a crucial piece of wisdom, borrowed from the community organizer Saul Alinsky. This is a gradual process. If your organization is stuck way down in telling mode, trying to jump straight to co-creating is probably going to fail, and it'll create a massive backlash. The goal is to move just one step, 1 degree at a time. You build the capacity, you build the trust, and then you take the next step.
So, we're going to leave you with a challenge. Take a hard, honest look at this ladder. Where is your team right now? And even more importantly, what is the one next step you could take to start climbing? It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It just has to be the very first move on your journey from telling to co-creating.